All right, so Shakespeare, right? We're doing a deep dive today into Act 1, Scene 4 of King Lear.
Okay.
So we are past the dividing of the kingdom, that whole debacle.
Right. Yeah.
And now we're at Goneril's palace.
Yeah.
Tensions are kind of simmering, and Lear's about to get a harsh reality check.
Yeah, it's interesting you say simmering tensions because right from the start, you can just sense that something is off.
Yes.
The knight's observations about Lear's, dwindling authority really set a pretty ominous tone.
Right.
Plus, the fool is pining away, and it's not just for laughs, right?
Right.
It foreshadows some serious heartbreak that's coming Lear's way.
Yeah, and those details, right? They're so key, especially when you're reading Shakespeare, picking up on those little things that he's hinting at.
Right.
Speaking of details, let's talk about Kent.
Okay.
Banished by Lear for defending Cordelia.
Yeah.
But does he just walk away?
Right.
Disguises himself, comes back to serve the king.
Yeah.
Talk about loyalty.
Huge loyalty, yeah. And I think his disguise is more than just a plot device. It really speaks to those themes of loyalty, duty that run throughout the entire play.
Yeah.
Kent's willingness to risk everything just to serve Lear shows us how deep his devotion runs.
Yeah.
But it also allows him to kind of act as this moral compass for Lear,
Right.
offering him guidance and support even as the king descends into madness.
Yeah, and that first encounter between them is priceless.
Right.
Lear's all, "Who are you?" Kid's like, "A man, sir."
Keeping it nice and simple.
Yeah, you can almost hear the audience chuckling at that.
Yeah, and that line, "A man, sir," it's more than just a witty comeback. It's the subtle reminder to Lear of his own humanity.
Yeah.
Stripped of his title, stripped of his power.
Right.
Lear is just a man, vulnerable, flawed.
Yeah.
And that's really setting the stage for this journey of self-discovery, albeit a very painful one.
Right, and then Lear asks about Kent's skills, and Kent says, "I can keep honest counsel and eat no fish."
Yeah.
Okay, what's the deal with the fish?
Right.
Is Kent just being a picky eater?
Well, I mean, that line has puzzled scholars for centuries.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, some people see it as a subtle kind of jab at Catholics who were known for eating fish on Fridays.
Oh.
So maybe Kent's aligning himself with the Protestant king.
Interesting.
But on a deeper level, I think it's about Kent's integrity.
Yeah.
He's saying, look, I'm not swayed by trends.
Yeah.
I'm not swayed by external pressures.
Yeah.
I speak my truth, plain and simple.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's almost like Shakespeare's giving us a little wink, like, hey, look beyond the surface.
Right.
There's more going on here.
Exactly.
But things take a turn for the worse when Oswald, Goneril's steward, shows up.
Yeah.
Nose in the air, and Lear's already feeling the sting of disrespect, right?
Totally.
So Oswald's arrogance is just like pouring salt into the wound.
Absolutely. And I think Oswald becomes this symbol of everything that's wrong with the New Order.
Right.
He's arrogant, he's power hungry, he's completely lacking in any respect for Lear. His presence is just this constant reminder of Lear's diminished status.
Ugh, I hate him already.
Yeah, and the tension just keeps building.
Yes.
And then, bam, Lear just explodes.
Yes, he does.
Good old Kent trips Oswald right up.
It's so satisfying.
It's great, right?
Yeah, it's comic relief for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, a sign of Lear's growing impulsiveness.
Oh, for sure.
Remember, rash decisions, right?
Yeah.
We're starting to see those come out.
Absolutely.
But then in the midst of all this drama,
Yeah.
enters the fool.
Here he is.
And he's not just there for laughs, is he?
No, he's one of Shakespeare's most intriguing characters, I think. More than just a jester.
Yeah.
He's a truth teller. He's a commentator on everything that's happening.
Right.
His jokes and his songs often carry a much deeper meaning.
Yes.
Offering these insights into the play's themes and even the character's motivations.
It's true. And he even drops some serious wisdom on Lear.
Yeah.
Like, have more than thou showest, speak less than thou knowest, which is advice that's relevant even today, right?
Totally.
Be humble, think before you speak.
Timeless lessons.
But what's fascinating is that Lear, in all of his rage and confusion,
Yeah.
he often ignores the fool's wisdom, right?
He does, blinded by his pride.
Blinded by his pride.
Unable to see the truth in those words.
Yeah, it's kind of a tragic irony.
It really is. Adds another layer to their relationship.
It does. And then enter Goneril,
Oh, boy.
Lear's eldest daughter,
Here we go.
and she is not happy.
Yeah. No, she's not happy at all.
Throws Lear's knights right back in his face,
Uh-huh.
complaining about their behavior, how they're disrupting her house.
Yeah.
Basically tells him to downsize his entourage.
Yeah, downsize. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Cold.
So cold. And the fool, never missing a beat, throws out this line, "The hedge sparrow fed the cuckoo so long that it had its head bit off by it young.
What?
What in the world does that even mean?
Well, it's a metaphor for Lear's situation.
Okay.
So the hedge sparrow represents Lear. He's the one who has nurtured, who has raised his daughters. And those daughters are the cuckoos.
Right.
You know, cuckoos are notorious for pushing their foster siblings out of the nest.
Right.
Kind of like Goneril and Regan are turning on Lear right now.
Oh, wow.
It's a chilling foreshadowing of the betrayal that's to come.
Wow, Shakespeare really packed a punch in that one line.
I know, right?
Like a mini summary of the whole play.
Yeah.
And Lear, he's completely blindsided by Goneril's demands. Confusion, anger, the cracks are starting to show in his mental state.
Yeah, and this is where his world truly starts to crumble.
Yeah.
He's facing the consequences.
Yeah.
The price of his pride.
It's true.
The king who once commanded absolute authority, right, is now reduced to begging for respect from his own daughter.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's a powerful illustration of just how fragile power can be.
Oh, this whole scene is like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You know it's coming, but you can't look away. And then Lear utters one of the most haunting lines in the play. Who is it that can tell me who I am?
Oh, man, that line is a gut punch.
Yeah, it is.
It speaks to his crumbling identity, you know, stripped of his title.
Right.
Betrayed by his daughters. He's lost his sense of self. Yeah. It's a question that resonates with anyone who's ever felt lost and uncertain.
It's true. It's true. And Goneril, not giving an inch.
No.
Keeps pushing.
Yeah.
Demanding that he reduce his retinue even further. His anger boils over, and he unleashes that furious curse on Goneril.
Yeah, it's like a volcano erupting.
It is.
Years of frustration and pain just pouring out.
Feel powerful.
It's raw, visceral, unforgettable.
Yeah.
Shakespeare does not hold back.
No.
He uses such vivid imagery.
He does?
To convey just the depth of Lear's anguish.
It's a turning point.
It is.
For the play.
Absolutely.
It's the beginning of his descent into madness.
It is.
And even Albany, Goneril's husband, who seems like a decent guy, can't do anything to stop this train wreck.
No, he's caught between his wife and his king.
Yeah.
Powerless to intervene.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even good intentions can be swept aside in the face of unchecked ambition.
Absolutely. And Albany's helplessness just highlights Goneril's manipulative nature.
Yes.
She is firmly in control.
Yes.
Pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Albany's just a pawn in her game.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that power can corrupt.
Right.
Even in the most intimate of relationships.
It's true. It's true. This scene, it's like a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
And we've only just begun.
I know.
It's clear that Lear's on a dangerous path.
Yeah.
And things are about to get a whole lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
But even in the midst of all this turmoil, there's a glimmer of hope.
There is.
Lear clings to the belief that Cordelia,
his banished daughter,
right, will be different.
Right.
That she'll love him unconditionally.
Yeah, he sees her as his last chance for redemption.
That's true.
A beacon of love in this world that is turned against him.
Yeah, it's a poignant moment of hope.
It is.
But also tragically ironic given the fate that awaits them both.
Yeah.
So you've got betrayal, curses, and a glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens next.
This is just the beginning of Lear's journey.
It is.
And it's going to challenge everything he thinks he knows about himself, his family, the world around him.
It is.
Everything. You know, it's striking how Shakespeare kind of weaves together this humor and tragedy so tightly in this scene.
Right.
Even as Lear's world is falling apart, the fool is still cracking jokes.
Yeah.
It's such a delicate balance.
It is.
But it makes the tragedy hit even harder when it does.
Right. And it's almost like the fool's using humor to point out the absurdity of the whole situation.
Right.
It's like he's not just there for comic relief.
Yeah.
He's almost like, you know, a Greek chorus.
Yeah.
Commenting on the action and offering a different perspective.
Exactly. And he's able to speak truth to power.
Right.
In a way that really no one else can.
Right.
Lear might brush off criticism from Kent.
Right. From others.
But the fool, with his witty barbs in his songs.
Yeah.
He kind of gets under Lear's skin.
He does, and that's what makes it so frustrating when Lear lashes out at the fool.
Yeah.
He's the one person who's truly loyal to him.
Right.
The one who stays by his side, even when everyone else abandons him.
Absolutely. And the fool's loyalty, I think, is all the more poignant.
Yeah.
When you consider that he's witnessing Lear's mental decline firsthand.
Right.
Imagine the pain he must be feeling,
I know.
seeing this king, the king that he served,
Right.
lose his grip on reality.
Right. It adds another layer of tragedy to the whole thing.
Totally, totally. And let's not forget Goneril in all of this.
Oh, yeah, Goneril?
She's like the ice queen,
She is.
cold, calculating, completely devoid of compassion.
Right.
What drives her to be so cruel to her own father?
Right. It's a good question.
And it's interesting that Shakespeare never gives us a clear answer.
He doesn't.
We're left to kind of wonder, is she just power hungry?
Oh.
Is it resentment? Or maybe she's a product of this system
Right.
that values power above all else.
Right. It's one of those questions that keeps you thinking long after you finish reading it.
It really does.
It does, and it makes you wonder how much of our behavior is shaped by the world around us.
Right. Really.
Are we all capable of such cruelty
Yeah.
under the right circumstances?
Yeah. And that's a question that's so relevant
It is.
to any time period.
Yeah.
We see examples of it throughout history and even in our own lives.
Right.
It's a testament to Shakespeare's genius that his plays continue to resonate
They do.
with audiences centuries later.
They really do.
Because they tap into these universal truths about human nature.
It's true. Speaking of human nature, poor Albany.
Right.
He just seems like he's stuck in a no-win situation.
He does.
He's clearly troubled by Goneril's behavior,
Yeah.
but he's also completely under her thumb.
He is. And Albany's a fascinating character because he represents this kind of
Right.
moral middle ground. He's
Yeah.
not as ruthless as Goneril.
Right.
But he's also not as strong-willed as Kent.
Right. He's caught in between
Total.
his loyalty to his wife and his conscience.
Yeah, torn between the two.
You can see him struggling.
Right.
Wants to do the right thing, but afraid of Goneril's wrath.
And it's a reminder that even good people can be complicit,
Yes.
especially when they're afraid to speak up.
So true. And that fear of speaking up,
Yeah.
rocking the boat, right?
Yeah.
It's something we can all relate to.
Oh, for sure.
It takes courage to stand up to power,
Absolutely.
especially when you know it's the right thing to do.
It does.
Let's go back to that moment when Lear curses Goneril.
Yeah.
Such a powerful scene,
It is
full of rage and heartbreak.
so much emotion.
What is Shakespeare doing with language there?
He's using language to paint this visceral picture
Yeah.
of Lear's emotional state.
Right.
It's not just anger.
Right.
It's this deep, primal pain. The
Yeah.
words he uses, serpent's tooth,
Right.
marble-hearted fiend, they're like daggers aimed at Goneril's soul.
It's true. It's almost like he's trying to curse her with his words
Yeah.
to inflict the same pain he's feeling. It's raw. It's a raw expression of his anguish.
It is.
Shows just how deeply he's been wounded
Yeah.
by her betrayal.
It's a turning point for Lear.
It is.
From this moment on, there's no going back.
Right.
He's crossed a line.
Yeah.
The consequences are going to be devastating.
Right.
It's like he's unleashed a force he can no longer control.
And then in the midst of all this despair,
Yeah.
he clings to that last shred of hope.
Mm.
Cordelia
Yeah.
believes that she'll be different,
Right.
that she will love him unconditionally.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
Because we, the audience, we know that his hope is misplaced.
Right. And that's what makes Shakespearean tragedy so compelling.
It is.
We see the characters heading towards their doom,
Right.
and we're powerless to stop it.
Yeah.
But even in the darkest moments, there's a glimmer of hope. This flicker of humanity that keeps us engaged.
So this scene is like a microcosm of the whole play.
It is.
It's got everything.
Everything. Power struggles, family drama, betrayal.
Right.
This constant tug of war between hope and despair.
So much in one scene. Yeah. And it all comes to a head in this one scene.
It does.
It's a masterclass in dramatic tension,
Yeah.
character development, and the power of language.
It is.
It's no wonder this scene continues to be studied,
Right.
performed centuries after it was written.
Right.
We've covered so much ground,
We have.
and I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
We have.
What else should our listener be paying attention to in this scene?
I would encourage our listener to pay really close attention to the way that Shakespeare uses imagery
Okay.
and symbolism to kind of reinforce the themes of the play.
Yeah.
So, for example, think about that recurring motif of blindness and sight.
Okay.
Lear is literally blind to the truth
Yes.
about his daughters,
Yeah.
just as Gloucester will be later in the play.
That's a great point. It's like Shakespeare saying,
Yeah,
true sight goes beyond the physical.
it does.
Right. It's about being able to see the truth about yourself and the world around you,
Yeah,
even when it's painful.
Exactly. And there's so many other layers to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
The use of animal imagery, the recurring theme of nature versus civilization,
Right.
the exploration of what it really means to be human.
It's true.
This scene is a treasure trove
It is.
of insights waiting to be discovered.
So much to think about. It's clear that this scene is more than just a plot point.
It is.
It's the heart of the play,
Yeah.
where everything starts to unravel.
Right. And it really sets the stage for the rest of Lear's journey.
It does.
A journey that's going to take him to the very edge of madness
Right.
and force him to confront the darkest truths about himself and the world around him.
Okay, so we've talked about Lear, his descent into madness,
Right.
Goneril's icy ambition,
Yeah.
even Albany and his moral struggles. But I want to kind of circle back to the fool.
Oh.
He's such a fascinating character.
Yeah, he really is.
Always walking that line between comedy and tragedy.
He's one of Shakespeare's most complex and multi-layered creations, I think.
I agree.
I mean, think about it. He's really the only one who can speak truth to Lear
Right?
without facing his full wrath,
Right. He uses humor as a shield,
Yeah,
but his jokes are often kind of barbed with wisdom.
totally. Yeah, it's like he's this court jester, but
Yeah.
with this, real edge.
Right.
Not afraid to poke fun at the powerful,
No.
even when it risks his own safety.
Yeah, and it's I think that fearlessness
Yeah.
that makes him so compelling.
Yeah.
He sees through the facade of power, the hypocrisy of the court.
Yeah, he's this voice of reason
He is.
in a world that has truly gone mad.
It's true, and yet he's so deeply loyal to Lear.
Yes.
Even when the king is at his worst,
Yeah.
it's almost like he sees the good
Yeah.
that Lear himself can't even see.
And that unwavering loyalty is really heartbreaking.
It is.
When you consider the fool's ultimate fate.
Right. He kind of disappears from the play.
Yeah, he does.
For the final act,
Right.
we're just left to wonder what happens to him.
Right. And some scholars even believe that he dies of grief,
Oh, wow.
unable to bear the weight of Lear's suffering.
Oh, that's such a tragic thought.
It is.
But it also adds to the play's kind of overall sense of loss and despair.
Absolutely. It's like even the fool, with all of his wit and wisdom,
Yeah.
can't escape that encroaching darkness.
Right. So this scene, this is a pivotal moment
It is.
for both Lear and the fool.
Yeah.
This is the point where Lear's sanity really starts to unravel.
Yeah.
And the fool's role, right, as truth teller, becomes even more important.
Even more crucial. Yeah.
He's trying to guide Lear back to reason,
Yeah.
but Lear's too far gone,
He is.
lost in his own world.
Lost in his world of rage and grief.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that even the wisest among us
Yeah.
can't always save the people we love
Right.
from themselves.
It's true.
Sometimes all we can do is just bear witness to their suffering,
Yeah.
offer what little comfort we can.
Exactly. And so, as we reach the end of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listener with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, shoot.
How do you think Kent feels witnessing Lear's downfall?
Oh, good question.
But while he's disguised as a servant,
Right.
imagine that internal conflict,
Yeah.
that desire to protect the king that he swore to serve,
Right.
but being forced to watch this happen.
Right, from the sidelines.
Powerless to intervene.
It's a great question. It really kind of highlights the sacrifices we
Mm.
make for those we love,
Yeah,
the silent burdens that we carry.
totally, yeah.
So Act 1, Scene 4, this is more than just a scene in the play.
It is.
This is like a glimpse into the human heart, right?
It is.
With all its complexities and contradictions.
It's a scene that continues to resonate with audiences centuries later
It does.
because it speaks to these universal themes: power, loyalty, betrayal, the fragility of the human psyche.
Right. It reminds us that even the most powerful among us
Yeah,
are vulnerable to the forces of fate,
right.
and that true strength lies not in authority,
Yeah,
but in compassion and empathy,
yeah.
and the courage to speak truth to power.
That's it.
So much to unpack
I know.
in just one scene.
It's true.
It's a reminder that Shakespeare's works,
Yeah.
they're not just stories, they're reflections on the human condition,
They are.
full of insights that are as relevant today as they were centuries ago.
Totally.
So we encourage you to keep exploring,
Yeah.
keep questioning,
Keep discovering.
keep discovering the hidden depths of this timeless masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy reading.